Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Black Eel Podcast. Here are your hosts, Scott and Mike. So, in today's video or episode, however you want to phrase it, we're going to be focusing on Venom in the beginning because we had a big trailer where we have something revealed that we need to talk about. Because once again, Scott was right. And then we'll talk about the second part, which we almost had a debate before starting about
Yeah.
that. So we had to stop immediately because it wasn't that it was getting heated. It was more the fact of like, we'll discuss in a minute. So anyway, we then, after talking about the two Venom, well, one trailer, one kind of like, how do I want to phrase it? I guess the best way to phrase it is like branding, like
I mean,
commercial. I
this
don't
was
know.
the world of TV, it would be a TV spot.
Yes.
But
Well,
because
it
it
kind of works
because
still the same way.
yeah,
Um,
instead of it being on TV, it was on YouTube.
yeah.
So
So we have that, and then obviously we're going to be talking about the season finale of Kite-Man. We have to talk about season 2 of Harley Quinn, which there's a lot to discuss there because, again, for some reason I thought Harley Quinn was a lot longer than what it was because a lot of this I thought was spread out through a couple of seasons, and it was not.
well, this season I like as things were going along, I kind of just was like, okay, I remember this happening. Like it was
Oh
more of
no,
just
no,
me forgetting that
this
things
was
happened.
this was the first time that everything in this I remember. There was only one thing that it wasn't so much that I didn't remember it. I just didn't remember somebody's voice. That's it. Like the
Oh,
character,
okay.
like I remember the character coming in. I remember the character doing exactly what they did, but the voice was different than I was expecting.
Yeah, okay.
Um,
But no, I mean, I remembered like I knew
I
when
just
things
didn't
were
remember
happening. I
it.
was like, okay, I remember this.
I
I
just didn't.
after this point, I was because I remember season 3 is when Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy are together. So
Yes. No, no, I agree with you on that one. I think for me, I for some reason knew all this stuff happened and in the order it happened, just not as condensed as it was in that actually.
should we just start talking about Harley Quinn season 2 because we're already on that point, or should we just hold off and
No, we're gonna hold.
backtrack?
No, we're gonna hold off because we're a little space shot today. And then obviously we're gonna be ending with a character spotlight from Mike. But let's get right into Venom. So the new Venom trailer, for the most part, the only thing that was added, I mean, there might have been a couple more fight scenes of that nature. However, the main attraction was the main villain was finally introduced, and it is Null, the god of the symbiotes.
Yep, we got kind of a first look at him.
So
Um,
what's funny is, and this is where it gets kind of weird, because Noel is a symbiote,
yep,
but he's got a human.
he's got a human body.
Yeah,
He's got a human form.
human form. I'll say that because I won't say he's got a human body, but he's got a human form that's always thrown me off. And in fact, ooh, I shook everything.
Oh,
Um,
jeez.
so one of the big things is I know Mike's. I know we've talked about this briefly, but Noel reminds me of the Marvel's Dracula in the sense of the way he looks.
Yeah,
He's
I
got
remember you talking
he's
about that
kind
a
of
little
got
bit.
like
Yep.
the dead looking skin. He's got he sometimes has fangs, sometimes it's like just well, I guess you would still consider them fangs, but like sharp teeth.
Mhm.
Um and he's always got like the long white hair.
And I
Um
mean, from the images that I've seen, it's like he's got the vampire wings ish. So
yeah, and again, that's more of like symbiote-esque, like kind of like the
yeah,
manipulation thing. However, you're not wrong. Like realistically, if I showed you a picture of Null and didn't tell you, I think your first reaction would be, "What kind of Dracula is that?" You know what I'm
oh
saying?
yeah, yeah.
I think you would go that
What kind of
first.
rendition? Absolutely. I've
However,
seen pictures, and you're absolutely right. He looks very similar to Dracula. Dracula.
but obviously very different. However,
Yep. Oh yeah.
um, yeah, I know. So he's the god of the symbiotes, and he is the hive mind. All symbiotes are controlled by him, or they're supposed to. Obviously, there have been at least two that have not been under his control. There have been others too sporadically, but eventually the hive mind is the hive mind.
Hmm.
However, if I remember correctly, all the ones that didn't were all either, I think they were all related to Venom.
That would make sense.
Because, like, I believe it's Carnage, Toxin, because Carnage is Venom's son. Toxin is Carnage's son, and then all the others, I don't remember if they lived long enough to know what Null was at the time. But anyway, my point I'm making is the ones who we know for a fact who have not been affected by the hive mind completely, like they were able to separate themselves from it, have been Venom-esque.
Mhm.
Now, for those of you who don't know the comic book history, Venom eventually kills Null and becomes the hive mind.
You think that's going to happen in this movie?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he kills Null, and I think he might. I think they might do like a, how do I want to phrase this? Kind of like a Free Willy situation, in the sense of he's gonna let the symbiotes be free. Like he's gonna kill Null, and then the symbiotes will be free.
Introduce free will. That'll be an interesting take.
It would be, and I don't know how that would look
Yeah, no,
because,
I don't think that would really go too well,
but it
to be
also
honest.
depends. Well, here's the thing. This is also depends too. Are the symbiote creatures we see different symbiotes, or are they a piece of Null? That's the other factor that we don't know either, because
Hmm.
technically they could go either way. They could have the hive mind,
Hmm.
which I mean technically would still do the same thing. The difference is it would be a piece of Null that he injected into others, and then he controls them, which has the
Yeah,
similar vibe, but it's different.
yeah, it's I mean yeah, no,
Because then the idea would be
it's
when Null dies, they die.
yeah, because if Knowles gets killed, then everything else would cease to uh, I don't want to say cease to operate, but cease to exist. And
Yeah,
then
it
if
wouldn't be able
they're
to.
if each their own individual, then then if Null dies, then it's just like a mind control that gets wiped.
Correct, and that's the only thing that's not really known yet, and I don't think that's a big of a deal. Um, I personally don't think it's that big of a deal because we kind of have the idea that these are mindless creatures. So
Yeah,
regardless, I don't think it truly matters whether they're part of the hive mind or not. Um, but yeah, I'm
it would
actually
just really depend on like how the end of the movie would go.
agreed.
At
Agreed.
at the moment, it's not that big of a deal, but towards the end of the movie, then that'll
How it?
make a
I
kind
was
of a
gonna
bigger
say
difference.
that that's gonna be a plot twist slash big huge plot point that determines the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Um, did you hear the rumor of who will be playing Null?
Yep. What is it? It's the guy that plays Daryl in The Walking Dead. Norman.
So you're right. I just don't know his name.
Yeah, Norman Reedus, I think.
I think so. So I'm surprised.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
didn't expect him, but I mean,
no, no, I'm not mad about it.
he's a good actor, so.
And I mean, obviously, he's going to be partially CGI'd
Mhm.
for obvious reasons, which I don't have a problem with. Um,
I think his character would kind of work for the type of character Noel is. So
yes, yeah, I think I got to see what Noel truly looks like. I will say this: the silhouette of Noel, perfect.
yeah.
I don't see any issues. I have a feeling they purposely did not show his face because they might still be working on it.
I mean, either way. I mean, even just showing the silhouette, you don't need to see the full villain yet. I mean, to save
No, but
some stuff
everyone
for
knew
the actual
exactly who it
movie.
was the moment you saw him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
I mean, that could just be a big reveal for the movie. Like you're building up to it, and then at the end of the movie, there's Noel. You know?
yeah, also true. But I also like the idea of like it's so funny to me because Noel is not like what you would consider a a mainstream character. I guess is the best way to phrase it.
Yeah. I could. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like the fact that so many people knew who exactly that was right from the get go is actually kind of cool to me.
Oh
Um,
yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's one of those things where I mean, you know you have this small time character that then like he becomes popular. So you know it's you know
yeah, and he's obviously been he's a universal threat.
oh yeah, yep, absolutely.
He's
I
not a
mean,
multiversal threat to my knowledge. I could be wrong, but I know he's definitely a universal threat. Uh,
technically he could be multiversal, couldn't he?
well, so the idea of multiversal, and I could be is, and this is and this might not be the perfect definition, but this is my understanding of it. A universal one can destroy the universe that it's in.
Yep.
Multiversal can be in one plane of existence and destroy multiple universes.
Okay. Oh, so like the action of one thing in one universe will chain react to destroy multiple
Like
universes.
Galactus can literally cause destruction in the multiverse. There are creatures like Thanos who can only he can only destroy the
The universe he is
universe.
in.
He
Yeah.
can go to another universe and destroy it, yes, but he has to physically go to that universe to destroy it.
Well, the only reason I was saying he could technically be multiversal is because of the fact that the hive mind controls the symbiotes throughout the multiverse.
So I don't think that's I don't think that's canon. I don't think it's been proven that he can control them from multiple universes.
Oh, okay. All right. Um,
I thought it was just kind of like remember Ultron Su- Supreme
Infinity Ultron, yeah.
Infinity Ultron, thank you. Remember how he in the at one point like he was controlling the entire universe obviously.
Yeah.
And he had to he that's kind of where Null is. Maybe I haven't followed up on him obviously. He might have the ability to do so now. Maybe they've proven it that he can control symbiotes from other. Oh wait.
Well, so the reason why is because in No Way Home, I think it was No Way Home, when they had Venom in the movie, because in his universe he doesn't have Spider-Man as far as we know, and he saw Spider-Man on TV. He says he looks familiar and got like he got wanting to fight him. He's like, this is an enemy. So that's when people started talking about how Venom, because of the symbiote, can control have because of the hive
I
mind.
think I think if I remember correctly from the comics, and I could be wrong because I think I did this on a character spotlight. He can't just control them from their universe. They have to first go to his universe. He then controls them, and then when they go to the other universes, he's got control over them still. I don't think his power alone can control all the symbiotes throughout the entire multiverse. I think he's got to spread like a virus.
That would make sense, actually. Which I
Because
would
if
still consider that a multiversal threat, because if
I'm not disagreeing to that, but I think he's.
I understand your distinction, though.
But you understand my distinction. He's on the cusp. I'll say. I'm not convinced 100% we could say he's for sure a multiversal threat because I don't think he was able to send too many to the other universes. I don't know if that was just because of numbers or if it was just because he couldn't control them. It's not like they specifically explored it.
Yeah,
But I get what you're saying. I think you might be right. He might be considered multiversal. I just think if he is, he's a low level multiversal,
I mean, I wouldn't
which is
consider
such
him
a
on the
weird thing.
level.
Which is such a weird thing to say. But
I wouldn't consider him on the level of like Doom or Kang, but I mean, I could see him or even Galactus, but I could definitely see him as
well, Galactus is its whole different thing.
yeah.
Galactus punches somebody and it causes a multiversal. You know what I'm saying? So I
But
mean, like,
like I could consider it like him. I don't think it's really just him just infecting the multiverse. Like it's not like that. That's how I picture it. So
no,
it's
I don't
like
think it's that. I don't think he could do that specifically, but I think he can spread and eventually, spread in a way that's not like he would have to bring them into his universe, control them, and then send them out to do his bidding.
yeah.
Um, but again, I could be wrong. But anyway, I know what you're saying. That was a tough one, but Noel was incredible. Just to look at, even though it was just a silhouette. We also get to see that Venom has an addiction, which surprisingly leads to the next trailer, which we'll talk
Which
about in
leads
a second.
directly into the next TV spot.
So before we get into that, um, Venom is controlling Eddie to play the slot machines. This is the greatest thing ever. What is this feeling I'm feeling? This is incredible. I can't wait for it to stop. Wait, what happened? You're out of money. Give me more money. I don't have any more. We need more money. I want to make me happy again.
So to he's there. So this trailer, I guess it seems like this is taking place in Vegas. So
Which makes sense because they're in Vegas. Why we don't
yep.
know.
Oh,
However, we find out how he gets his suit, his literal suit, not the Venom suit,
yeah.
which is hilarious. I don't know what I would have thought. Like, I should have realized that that's probably what they did or they stole it. But the fact that he knocked somebody out to get it, I don't know why, but that to me was hilarious. For
Oh,
like
it is funny.
for no reason, it was like hilarious to me. And like it shouldn't have been
Okay.
that funny. Um and so anyway, so he then goes to the slot machine and then he kicks it and breaks it. I believe he breaks it, right? He definitely damages it if he doesn't.
He breaks it, but coins start shooting out when he breaks it, I believe.
Yeah, which is a stereotypical thing.
Yeah.
Um so anyway, we then have Eddie Brock in the TV spotlight go to, is he the head of the UFC, I'm assuming?
He's the owner. He's the owner of
Okay.
the
I
UFC.
I figured as much, but I don't know it well enough to know for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he goes to the owner of the UFC and basically said, "I can
Dana
fight.
White.
I can fight." And he's like, "Who the hell are you? Get out of here." He's like, "Man, I need money. I can fight. Let me fight." And he's like, "Get the hell out of here." And then of course Venom is like, "Let's eat him."
Just say you hearing the voices in his head, and he just the personality thing going on. It makes it so much better.
And then Eddie leaves, and then all of a sudden we hear screaming or yelling.
Yelling.
It's yelling. I wouldn't say screaming. That's not the. And all of a sudden he opens the door, and Eddie Brock has pinned a UFC fighter who I'm assuming is a big name.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
So
So
anyway, I'm assuming he's got to be a big name for right now. And he's basically like, "Man, this guy's crazy. Like, he's not even human." And he's like, "Shh, shh, shh, shh." And he's like, "Can we not?" And then so he lets go of him and everything. And the UFC fighter says to the owner, being like, "We're not going to discuss this with anybody."
yeah, and he gives him some money. So they go and
Does he actually give him money?
oh yeah, he takes out a wad full of cash and throws it at him, and that's the
Oh,
reason why he lets him go.
oh, fine. I didn't. You know
and
what? That piece I missed. But anyway,
and then at the end of the trailer, they go running off, and you hear Venom like, "Oh, back to the slots."
no, I did know that. That I did hear. But I thought, to be fair, with Venom, he would have just eaten somebody and taken their money.
I mean, yes, but I mean, he wouldn't. He didn't eat anybody, and he wouldn't be able to go back to the slots if he didn't have any money. So,
Also true. So yeah, so Venom is addicted to gambling, which I find to be hilarious.
this is so good.
To
I
be
can't
fair,
wait.
to be fair, I'll say this: gambling addiction symbiote was not on my bingo card,
No, no, absolutely not.
but it fits. I'll say this: like from what we've seen, it actually fits the
From
character.
this Venom's this universe's Venom,
Yes,
absolutely,
no, 100%.
absolutely,
I'm
100%. This would fit his vibe.
100%. I'm just stating like it's just not something I would have thought of. Not
No,
in a bad
no, no,
way.
no.
Not in a bad way. It's just not what I was thinking.
So
Um,
I'm like kind of nervous. Like I'm looking forward to this movie because Venom, for the most part, has been a pretty good success for Sony. But when movies start over advertising and doing like these outrageous TV spots, I get nervous because to me it's like they're getting desperate and trying to put eyes on the movie when they know it's not going to do well. Um, so it's like I'm a little nervous with that, but
but isn't wait because it's coming out in October or September?
October 25th, I believe.
I'm wondering if they're worried about because I believe something else is coming out around that time too,
Joker.
and I think that might be something they're worried about.
I don't know. I feel like even though it's superhero, it is a different category. So I don't think they're as
I
it.
I don't know. I don't know. It's just normally when you over advertise, right? It's you're afraid of what your competition is because like we've seen this before with a lot of movies that are coming out around the same time.
True.
Um, and I think it's just the adage of even though it's technically not Marvel, it's Sony. I know that's stupid to say, but you know what I mean.
I mean,
But
it
it's
is
like
Marvel.
I yes, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, it's
Um,
not Disney.
correct. And so it's Marvel versus DC again, and Joker. Technically, like the first Joker was excellent.
The first Joker got $1 billion, just like no, it didn't hit. No, did it? Did it hit 1 billion?
No, but it did do. It was a huge
It
success
did.
though.
It did do really well, and Venom hit 1 billion as well. So
But I think the idea is it's one of those things where it's like Carnage wasn't received as well as the first one.
true.
So their fear is the third one, and then it's up against the Joker, who hasn't had a sequel yet, and the first one did well. I know the caveat is always the thought that the second one is not going to be good as the first, which still could be
Yep.
the case, but it could could be different because there's always that fear that, like with Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire, Spider-Man 2 did significantly better than Spider-Man 1, and
Oh
Spider-Man
yeah.
1 wasn't bad. You know what I'm saying? So
No.
it's like
No.
there's always that fear that the second one is always better than anybody's third.
Yeah.
Because most
No,
trilogies,
I
the
mean,
third one is the worst
yeah,
one.
no, I mean, I do understand the competition aspect. I do understand it. Um,
But again, it could be a lot of things. It could be because you're right on that front, but it could be that it's um because it's oh no, Sony owns Hedgehog, right? No. Do they?
I don't know. I do not know.
Because I was gonna say this might be their last good movie that they have in a while. And they might want
I
to make
mean,
sure this is a
so
huge
obviously
success.
they got
Craven.
the other movie coming out too, the Barbarian.
Craven.
Craven, thank you.
I'm like, I said it 3 times and you're like,
I didn't hear you. I actually didn't hear you say
I'm like
Craven once.
Craven, Craven. And you're like the barbarian. I was like, Craven.
I apologize. I actually didn't hear you. I didn't hear you say Craven once. I was looking at you too, and I didn't see your mouth moving. So
I'll say
apologies.
this. I'll say this. I said it twice, not 3 times. But
Oh, now it's so now we're gonna go back down to one, and then you're gonna
no, no,
say
no, no,
nothing.
no,
You
no.
said, did
No,
you say it
actually,
in your head?
nope. I said it out loud, and it is recorded. Um,
Well, when I hear this recording, I'll message you
no,
and let you know.
and I promise you, it was twice. It was
Okay,
once. It was once before, and then the second time you heard me.
I'll believe you.
But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Craven, I don't think is going to do that great. Um,
No, I don't think it will be.
I don't think it will be a bad movie. I just don't think it will do well. Um, Venom 3 is going to be tough because I don't know. It's the trilogy. A lot of people who liked Venom will see it, but by itself, is it going to be a good movie? I don't know. I hope it is for obvious reasons,
Oh, absolutely.
but I mean, it could go either way. All right. Anything else you want to add about Venom?
So I want to add something that's not about Venom actually, but it's in the terms of competition.
Okay.
So there's a rumor going around that Marvel wants to push up the date of Fantastic Four to the same day as Superman. I think that is a risky game that they want to play.
Here's why I think it's very stupid.
I mean, I think it's very stupid.
So, not so much. If this was any other movie, I would say go for it. They have not gotten a good response of how the thing looks.
Yeah,
Rushing that is not a good idea.
I think in I think it's. I'm not saying if it's any other movie. I I think I think the way that Marvel is looking at it is Superman is one of DC's heavy hitters.
Correct.
In Marvel's eyes, the Fantastic Four is one of their heavy hitters, even though like it's not like the big one, but like Marvel's first family. Everyone has been looking forward to this movie for the longest time, and this is technically the first uh, Fox Universe project that is like completely owned by Disney. This is going to be their first project. So I
Yeah.
think in Marvel's mind, they're like, movie has so much hype. I want that, like, they want to put the competition in to try to stick it to DC to crush DC before, because this is going to be DC's first major release under gun.
I know. You're
So
absolutely right. I don't know.
so in their head, they're like, they want to squash the competition before it has a chance to take off.
Here's the thing. I understand it. I don't think Fantastic Four is the one to do it, and my reasoning is exactly what I said. They don't have like people did not like the way the thing looked. You
Yep.
force that stuff out too early, you're going to have a huge issue. Where I understand their point. However, I know it. I know you shouldn't do it to any other movie, but like if it was any other movie where there people weren't complaining about the CGI and the friggin' first looks, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Then
Yeah. Yeah.
go for it. Like if they did the thing perfect right away, go for it. Fine. If everyone likes it, then go right ahead. I still think it's stupid because you're purposely going to have people choose between one or the other, and people are already not liking Marvel
Hmm.
right now, that they're
Yeah.
going to lean towards Superman automatically.
Oh yeah. I mean, if we're looking at if we're I mean, as take that situation aside. If the movie was being if the trailers were being well received and it was getting positive feedback and they decided to do Fantastic Four versus Superman, I think Superman would crush Fantastic Four anyways. I don't think okay, not
No, no, no,
crush,
no, no,
but do
no, no,
better.
no. I think you're accurate. Mostly due to the fact that, as stupid as it sounds, Superman is Superman.
Oh yeah,
People who
that's my point. Yeah,
Fantastic Four is a niche.
yeah. I mean, I agree.
Like
Like
if it was a Spider,
like
you would have to do Spider-Man versus Superman. You would
yeah,
have to do um, X-Men versus Superman. You would
yeah.
have to do something that even comic book, even non-comic book fans love to put it up against there. Fantastic
Hmm.
Four is not a non-comic book fan's cup of tea.
Oh yeah.
Not
Like
that it's not a
even
good
like
story.
so when I said Fantastic Four was the heavy hitter, I meant they were like one of their they're one of the bigger groups, but still not like they're
They're
in
I
retrospect in the movies scene, like you're saying, non comic book fans don't tend to lean towards Fantastic Four. And if we're looking at it from movie wise, they've had two movie releases, and overall, it was they were considered a failure both times. So they don't have a good history. So it's like that's already doing bad. Whereas Superman, even though there's a lot of uh, like back and forth with whether people like the Superman movies or not, Superman tends to be a success.
at
And
least
I
for
mean,
the,
it's been
at least for the opening weekend.
oh yeah, and I mean it's been 10 years since we've had a Superman movie. Yeah. So I mean, 2013, I think Man of Steel came out. So
Oh, just Superman. Okay.
yeah, Man of Steel, Justice League. I'm not counting that because that's not a Superman movie.
I was also going to say Batman versus Superman, but that also was not technically a
That's a
Superman
team
movie.
up movie. So I
No, no, no.
wouldn't.
I get what you're saying. I just was like, wait a minute. I don't consider it. And then I was like, no, that makes sense. Um,
We've had Superman TV shows, which has been a very good success. Superman and Lois. I've heard. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it has been actually one of the better CW shows,
yeah, his kids
which
are.
is actually shocking.
Because out of all of them, I would have thought that one was going to be shit.
Yeah, I agree. So
Apparently,
everyone has been loving that, and they've been loving the guy who has been playing Superman.
no, I
So
know. So there was a scene I saw um, where somebody, because his kids' powers are weird. They exist, but they don't exist. It's the weirdest thing, and I don't know if it's because the clips I'm seeing are from different seasons. So like all of a sudden, like some guy's bullying his kids, and one of them threatened Lois or whatever, and so he goes over there and says, "Hey, I don't want you threatening my wife and my kids," and this guy's like, "Oh, who the hell do you think you are? You're just some farm boy. I'm not worried about you," and he. It's the first time I think I've ever seen Superman be. I want to phrase this correctly. I think it's the first time I've seen like Superman lose it, but like still have control. Like he
mhm.
went straight Batman, I'll say. Like
Yeah.
he slammed this guy into the counter, clearly overpowering this guy, which he could without a problem.
Oh
And
yeah.
basically says, I promise you right now, if you do anything, Clark Kent will be back here and I will break your bones.
I actually remember that scene that you're talking about, and I think that was like near like season one. But I remember some kind of clip similar to that. If it's not the same one,
If it's not the
they might
same one,
have
it's
done the
it's
trope
it's
again.
definitely similar. Yeah, because it's just not something I think of when I think of
Oh yeah,
Superman, which is
no,
not a bad thing because I would imagine it works for because this is also one of the few Superman stories that he's a father.
oh yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the. I mean, we
Because
had that
technically,
movie that.
because technically Smallville's version is a father,
Hmm.
and I say it that way because he was part of the. the Infinite Earths, and he
Yeah.
gives up his powers.
Yep.
Um,
To have a family. Yep.
yeah, and
And then,
only and
I mean,
only
the 2002 Superman Returns movie, he was a father, technically. Not technically, he was.
okay, just the way you said that.
Well,
Um,
because so he didn't know he was a father. And then like at the end of the movie when he was unconscious, Lois told him that he was a father, and so it wasn't technically.
no, I understand what you mean. I think he was biologically a father, but not actually a father. If you understand what I'm saying.
I mean,
Meaning,
yeah.
like what was the kid born yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, you understand what I mean. Like he wasn't around for the kid.
Yeah, he wasn't around.
Dad. He was father, yes, but he wasn't dad,
Well,
and not
the
because
thing
he was a
I
bad guy.
if I remember the movie, I think technically Lois cheated on her husband, and the husband thought that uh their son was his. So the fact that it was
No,
actually
but
Superman's son.
no. I'm not saying it is a bad thing for Superman. I'm
No,
saying that
I'm not
he,
saying it's bad. I'm giving like background
yeah,
knowledge of the
but
situation.
I'm more just stating that he himself was not actually a father because he wasn't given the chance to.
Yeah.
This is the first time where he's been a father, to my knowledge, and like actually got to be one outside the comics,
Yep.
which I think is a cool concept. Or I'll say this is a better concept than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be crap, and obviously
Oh
it
yeah.
does really well.
And
Um,
I mean, if I remember correctly, the show kind of it was the sons were trying to find their powers because they hadn't their powers hadn't developed yet, and
that's what I thought. I thought it was one of
throughout the
those things
course
where
of the
it's like
show they were like developing their powers.
it's kind of Smallville vibes, except Superman is the dad.
Yep.
Uh,
Um, but I mean, I guess at some point when we have some downtime, maybe we'll watch that as well. Um, but that's for much later problem.
well, actually, it'll probably be much later, only because we have so much other stuff we got to catch up on.
Oh yeah. No, that's
Um,
I'm saying down the road because
yeah, but I
this
mean,
for the next couple months we've got a lot going on.
mostly because we have to catch up on Harley Quinn before season 5 and blah blah blah. But we are
Mm-hmm.
halfway. But anyway, let's move right on to Kite Man, the season finale. It was what I was expecting, and not at the same time.
I was not expecting the twist that
No. So before you give the twist, I'll say this: I knew Darkseid was going to play a major role, which I was
yep.
accurate in. I
Yep.
was not expecting the two twists that we got. The first one was
Oh.
Villigan's.
Yep. I was not expecting Villigans to be trying to actually be the good guy this
Well, they're
entire time.
not. They're not. They're trying to protect their business, which is
They
hilarious.
don't want the universe destroyed because they want their business, so they're trying to go after the most powerful weapon in the world in the universe so that way their business can continue to succeed. So I mean, they're looking at it in a selfish way, but they're
But they
not.
are doing the right thing.
They're doing
It's the
yeah.
weirdest concept ever, but yes. So the other plot twist, and obviously we're going to go into more detail about everything, but at typical Mike status, he wants to talk about the twist right away.
Of course,
Um,
because this was what the show was about.
Margaret Cho. Oh no, Rebecca Chung. What's her name?
It's Rebecca. I don't remember her last name.
Because her the voice actor is Margaret Cho, which is what throws me off because the name is very similar. Like it's
Oh,
got the same like syllables and it messes with me. But anyway, so Golden Glider's mom apparently plays a major role in this more than we were ever expecting. Um, she gets the idea from none other than Goldilocks,
yeah.
which is
The
not
Goldilocks
even
kept coming back.
which was not something I was expecting.
No.
So anyway, Golden Glider's mom joined Apocalypse as Darkseid's chorus member to then take off the mask and steal the anti-life equation and go into the storybooks, the fairy tale book, and use the anti-life equation and basically become God.
In the storybook.
So we're gonna go back. We're gonna circle back to that because I have some questions about what you think is gonna happen next. But big things here. So we fought the Legion of Doom. We had
Yep.
Villigan's help against Darkseid. Um, and Darkseid just spanking everyone, and Kite-Man trying to read the anti-life equation.
Just reading it upside down, which is why it wasn't making sense.
Which is so funny.
Just, I like it, this show was actually just really entertaining. Pure,
Like, and obviously this coincides with season 2 of Harley Quinn, which is hilarious because it's not planned that. It obviously wasn't planned that way, but it worked out perfectly. But the idea of having like Darkseid makes sense in Harley Quinn because the Justice League existed there, meaning like the Justice League played a role.
yeah,
Justice League really doesn't play a role in Kite Man, so having somebody like Darkseid be the main villain question mark, because I'm hesitant to say he's the main villain, but he's definitely the big villain.
yeah,
Um, and the fact that he's a part of it was just surprising, but it worked.
it
It
did.
worked
It really
so
did.
well that it didn't like I'm confused. Like it worked so well that I didn't think it should have.
No, they worked it perfectly.
On paper it should not have worked at all, and yet it actually did really well.
At at the beginning of when the show was first, when the trailer first came out and we saw Darkseid, I specifically said I have no idea how they're going to make Darkseid work for a character like Kite Man, and they did it perfectly. And like I am so impressed with how they made this work. It is like, in
Well,
actuality, like he just shows up and crushes all of these people there. Like not a
which is
single one of them legitimately could threaten him.
which is accurate. Like it's 100% accurate, but it's like he's then toying with them because, to be fair, he thinks of them as so beneath him. He's not going to waste his energy, which again I get because we only
Yeah,
see him actually unleash his power when Villigans gets there.
yeah, he
And he
uses
didn't.
his Omega Beam. Yep.
And realistically, that's not his greatest. You know what I'm saying? But it was
Yeah,
like he actually exerted himself for a second.
yeah, like he was actually like somewhat getting attacked, and he was like, "This is a nuisance," instead of just like brushing everybody aside.
Which makes sense because of who Darkseid is.
Uh
But
huh.
I thought the only thing that was funny, which obviously makes sense in the sense of because of it being Kite Man, was Darkseid was depressed that it was taken away, but he didn't like eliminate everyone.
Oh yeah, he was. It's like, well, this. He's like, oh, well, what was it? Malice was like, oh, Daddy, don't be mad, and he's like, I'm not mad at you. I'm impressed with how evil you truly are, and it's like, okay.
Makes
He's
sense.
like, and besides, this gives me more purpose for the next 1,000 years to hunt down Martian Manhunter and find the book to get the anti-life equation. It's like, oh, okay.
Which
So
that in itself was a huge plot twist.
that was, I like just out of nowhere, just
Well,
what?
I think the coolest thing about it was they in the show were asking the question that we all were was when was Martian Manhunter switched,
Uh
and they're like, well, it couldn't have been that long, but maybe it was always him. And then all
huh.
of a sudden, the CEO of Villigans, who's drinking at the bar, is like, "Oh no, you guys got help on that one." And you
Yeah,
see
like I
him,
don't worry. You guys are lucky that you have a planner on your side. It's like, oh,
and then he comes in
just walks
completely
right in the like, oh, we didn't miss anything, right? And everyone's just like, I think I prefer Martian Manhunter.
correct.
This was fun. This was a fun show.
The other piece that we didn't mention, which was a huge plot point in this episode, was they were going to poltergeist it. No, exorcist it.
Yep.
Basically, Kite Man absorbs the anti-life equation, and then he gets killed, and the anti-life equation dies with him. Obviously, that's not what happened.
They had said Golden Glider was the one who had to kill Kite Man.
No. Kite Man said he wanted her to do it. Everyone was volunteering to kill him.
I thought everyone had backed down when they said Golden Glider
No,
had to do it.
when Kite Man said it.
Oh, okay.
But before that, they were all fighting over who gets to kill Kite Man,
I
and
do
that
remember
to
that. Yeah.
me was the best.
Yeah.
When
Now,
he's like,
actually,
"I will gladly
now I am
explode
remembering.
you. I will gladly explode you."
I'll make the sacrifice to do it. Yep, I
And
remember
then
that
Kite
now.
Man's like,
Yep.
"I just want this quick and easy." And he's quick and painless. He goes, "Well, I can make it quick." Um, but yeah, so that it was actually really good, and the reason why I want to this leads to what I wanted to talk about the most was what do you think is going to be the main point of season two? Because I think it's obvious, but to be fair, I also thought there were many things obvious that did not happen.
That weren't obvious.
So
Yeah. I mean,
my
so
assumption, the way it alludes to is that um she's going to Golden Glider's mother is going to be the main villain.
So it's a double thing where it's like, okay, Golden Glider's mother is going to play a part because obviously she's going to find a way to get out of the book, and she's going to be a problem. But then at the end of the episode, we have Brainiac showing up.
Yeah,
So
that one threw me off too.
so now I'm wondering if this is going to be a situation similar to how it was with Darkseid in this season, where Golden Glider's mother is going to be the main villain, but Brainiac is the big bad. So that's kind of what I'm, or it could be the other way around, where Brainiac is the main villain, but Golden Glider's mother is the big bad. So at the moment, based off of how season one went, I'm looking at it from that aspect.
Which I mean is not a bad aspect to have. But I also think the main difference with that was we didn't see one of them right away. Because Villigans didn't come out right away.
Well, Villigans came in at episode 2.
So technically, but it was a restaurant at the time.
Yeah, it made it planted the first seeds in episode 2.
But
But
like we
I
didn't know
mean,
they existed beforehand is the point I'm making. And like in this one we see both parties technically. Let's pretend that you're right, right? And then they're going to do something similar in the sense of one be the big bad and the other one be the villain. We've seen both of them right from the beginning technically.
technically, if we're if we're looking at it from a technical aspect from how season 1 was, because Villigans, again, at the end of the season wasn't the bad guy. So
Also
um
true.
so technically the two main villains of season 1 was Lex Luthor and Darkseid.
Which were then both introduced right from the beginning.
Yep. So
Okay, that's fair.
uh
All right, so if we're looking at it from that standpoint, then yes. I think for me, Villigans just played a huge role that I was not expecting.
they definitely were. And I mean, again, we were
It
expecting
worked.
them to, they from our perspective,
They
from
didn't
the entire
exist. They
season,
did not exist.
they were the main villain except for the first episode.
Yes.
So I mean, like from episode 2 throughout episode until the last episode, they were the main focus. So they were like, okay,
100%.
they're the main villain, and
100%.
they
No,
weren't.
100%. No. All right, anything else you want to talk about on that?
No, I mean, I'm looking forward to season 2, and I love at the end of the season where Darkseid's choir is just like end of season 1, dude. Their little harmony singing at the end of it, like, was so good. It
No,
was
it
so
was.
entertaining.
Oh, no,
Out
100%
of
was.
everything, there was just one episode where I just wasn't too crazy about it, but
And it was
overall,
the
like,
only one that had plot.
yeah, it's
Like,
literally,
obviously, so I'll say this. Technically, it always had plot. But, like, it was like that episode felt like it was pushing towards something that never happened.
yeah, yeah, like,
Like,
it's
that was the big
just,
thing.
it was, yeah,
But it
no,
worked. It worked because it was in the middle of the season. It didn't ruin anything. It built back up pretty quickly. There was no issue. It was just
yeah.
that one episode was a disappointment, but it still wasn't a bad episode.
It wasn't a bad episode. It was just based off of like the entire with how the season went. Like it was the odd one out.
Agreed, 100%.
So so it was like, okay, this, like, I'm watching the show expecting like some fun and goofy stuff, and then like that episode was
Yeah,
somewhat serious.
I was gonna say
So
that
it was like,
that was
okay,
the only serious one.
but yeah, all right. I mean, I'm all set. So unless you have anything else that you want to talk about, let's move on to Harley Quinn season 2.
Okay, so Harley Quinn season 2. Sorry, we well, we start off not technically right after the end of season 1. It's several months after. Because Harley Quinn was just having fun, not
Yep.
realizing that there was villains taking over Gotham.
She didn't realize that they were Gotham was getting split up.
Correct. And she got nothing. Um, and they called them, so it was Mr. Freeze, Dr. Trapman? What is his Dr. Trap? Trap?
Who are
The
you
guy
talking
who
about?
sets up the traps. He looks like he's got like a. You know who I'm talking about. Kite-Man like gets destroyed by all his traps.
Oh, is it?
'Cause
I'm
he's one of the main bad guys.
yeah, technically.
Well, in
Yeah,
this scenario,
he was only there for a little while. That's why I didn't remember him.
but I can't remember his name. It was something like
Was
I
it?
know.
It wasn't Trap. It wasn't Trapmaster, right?
Oh, maybe it was Trap Master. I for some reason went Doctor Trap. I don't know why.
I don't think so. I'll try to
No,
look,
no.
but
I think
it was
Trap Master actually sounds like you're accurate. So it was Two Face, Penguin, Mister Freeze. I'm gonna go with Trap
uh,
Master for now. What was it?
oh no, actually, I think you're correct. I think it's Doctor Trap.
Oh
Oh no,
no!
that's Marvel. Trapster is Marvel. Yeah, no, I think it's Doctor Trap. Yeah, Doctor Trap.
Wow, go me!
Good for you.
First time
I'm
for everything,
impressed.
right?
I know
Um,
you get these random names out of nowhere for no reason. Like, you struggle
I
with names all the time, but the
I know.
insignificant ones that like, is not and has no significance, you get no problem. It's like
I'm so mad that that's accurate. Like I'm not even mad that I did it. I'm mad that it's accurate. Like I'm mad that it's all the time. It's never failed.
This isn't a one-time thing.
No, this is an every. Like you could ask me, like all of a sudden I'll be like Kevin Clark, and you'll be like, you mean Kent Clark? Like obviously I've never done that, but you know what I'm saying. And then
Yeah.
all of a sudden you'd be like Doctor Amazo, and you'll be like, how the hell do you know him? And that
Why?
correct. So Doctor Trap, Mister Freeze, Penguin, Two Face, Bane, Riddler.
That's it. Oh, and Riddler. Yeah.
I almost forgot about Riddler. I'm like, I know there was 6. Give me a minute. They divided up Gotham. So Harley Quinn finds out that apparently Gotham's been divided, and she then wants a piece of the pie, and they offer her an island. And it's
Mhm.
like the worst island on the planet, and it's like significantly smaller than all the other pieces. And she's like, F this, and she starts then trying to convince all their henchmen to go against their bosses, which they do, but backfires on Harley Quinn because it's even more villains that try to take over Gotham. And
Yep.
I can't remember, is it this episode? Yeah, this episode she kills Penguin. The first episode she kills Penguin. Or was it later?
No, it was later because then. So no, yeah, it was much later because so she gets the henchmen to revolt,
Yes.
and then they all team together.
Because if I remember correctly, the people she's talking to are technically Two Faces and Penguin's goons at Noonan's. Because I don't think
Yeah.
the other goons were there. None of the others were there.
No, I mean I think it was just goons in general,
Yes,
but
but they specifically were focusing
but they
on.
were specifically for those guys. But I think so. Then after they revolt, the big the big five. I'm gonna call them big five because I think the Doctor Trap kind of just like goes into obscurity. They all
Might
team
be true.
together. They all team together and try to take down Harley Quinn. So that way, then once they take her down, Penguin freezes or Mister Freeze freezes her. Then then they get the henchmen back under control, and that's when there was another big time jump because Harley Quinn was like, "Oh, you know, I go to sleep for whatever, like a couple hours," and they were like, "Harley, it's been like 3 months."
Yes, and then the next episode was Riddler.
Yeah. So then they no,
Sec-
Riddler was one of the last. Riddler
no,
was
no,
one
no,
of the last ones.
no. Riddler was second because it was Riddler U.
Yeah, no, I know that. So it was Doctor Trap was the first.
I don't
Was it
think
Doctor
so.
Trap?
No, I don't think so. I think it
No,
was Penguin. I
no,
think
no,
I'm
no.
right.
Yeah, you're right. It was Penguin. Then it
Was
was
Riddler? Because So watch this. I'm gonna actually. I can't believe we're this bad and we just saw it. So it was
Yeah, seriously.
New Gotham first. Okay. All right, hold on. Let me look at the description of
Because
everything.
they needed to take down Doctor Trap in order to get to Mister Freeze. Correct.
Yes, no, that you're correct on. So New Gotham was the first one which we get introduced to everything. But if I
Yep.
remember correctly, I believe Penguin dies in that one. Hold on. Yeah. Yes. Penguin gets stabbed in the throat. Because remember, he smashes her bat to smithereens, and then she uses a splinter end of her broken bat and kills him. And then um, that's when she gets frozen. Because later, Harley and her crew go get a coffee. Um, oh no, sorry, Clayface then lets Harley Quinn know that she was encased in ice for 2 months, not for a short amount of time like she thought. And now that they carved up the Injustice League into the new Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
And then Batman was found alive.
Okay,
So Bane. So I'm sorry. So it went it went Penguin first, then it was Riddler, then we had Catwoman, which I believe that one was the one where it was technically Trapman because they
yeah, because yep,
because
that
they
because
it starts off with them trying to go to the fortress and they can't break it in, and then that's when one of the goons is like, you'll have to use Firefly's flamethrower, but that's where Trapman has that and you'll never get it.
Trapman.
Dr. Trap.
You literally had it at the beginning.
I can't I can't have everything, okay?
God.
Gosh.
But yes, no, okay. So, so, Penguin dies in episode 1.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I know, I said the same thing. Okay, so FYI, this is what kills me because this is something I had to discuss with somebody because this one threw me off. The guy who voices Kite Man, do you know who also he voices in the show?
No.
You'll never guess in a million years. Ever.
Well, tell me.
Killer Croc.
Oh, really? Oh.
Out of all the things. Fun fact
Can
too, Clayface and Joker are voiced by the same person.
that
Um,
I think I did know.
I
I went through and saw like a lot of people that were voiced by the same people and person, and some of them were pretty shocking. I didn't see the Kite Man and Killer Croc.
Yeah, that one threw me off. The other ones I think made sense to me because it was like Poison Ivy and Barbara Gordon are the same.
Yeah.
But
Um
like it's just funny. But anyway, so back to the plot. So it goes Penguin Day, then they go to Riddler University, um, which then they capture the Riddler and put him on a hamster wheel.
and that's when Batgirl becomes Batgirl.
Yep. Then they so the next episode starts with them trying to take out Mr. Freeze, but they can't get into his fortress because it's all ice. And one of
Mhm.
his goons talks about the flamethrower that Dr. Trap has, and so they go deal with that, but they need Catwoman's help, and it's an awkward moment with Catwoman and Poison Ivy because Poison Ivy doesn't like her, but she thinks she's awesome. It's a weird
Yeah, she wants to constantly impress her, even though she, like you said,
like
doesn't like her.
she's like she screwed me over before. She's an awful person. Oh my god, Catwoman, you're incredible.
Do you like my jacket?
And then she gets her jacket stolen. It's just a whole thing. So anyway, we have all that. Um, they obviously get the flamethrower. They then try to fight Mr. Freeze. They technically succeed, but in the most depressing way possible.
Yep. I remember when I first watched this episode back when it first released that I was actually pretty upset after it. Like
It was sad.
yeah, it was really sad.
It gave me Arkham Knight Mr. Freeze.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about? Like that's
Yeah.
what it gave me. Um, I was just so sad about it because I don't know what I was expecting, but I for some reason thought that it would have been different. Um, but anyway, Mr. Freeze kills himself to save his wife, and then Harley Quinn and the gang try to basically like, "Oh my God, like he was a great guy. Get out!" And she basically just yells, "Nora, right? It's Nora, Nora."
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, she basically yells to them to leave, but she comes back, and we'll discuss that in a little bit. Um, we then have, was it this episode or the next episode where Batman gets his legs broken?
Don't remember. You have the episodes up, so you tell me.
I know, but the reason why I'm saying is because it's definitely like the next episode is about Batman having his legs broken, but for some reason I feel like his legs were.
So then no, it was that episode.
It was that episode
But
because
when Batman returns is that episode.
oh, so it was all the same episode. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's the next one. Everyone finds out that Batman's back thanks to Batgirl's Instagram story,
Yeah.
and that's
And
not.
Alfred becomes the I forget what he called himself. The that little clown hero. You don't remember?
That's
You
I can't think of the name.
Oh, okay. I thought you were looking at me saying that you didn't
No, I'm
remember
trying to
him.
because I'm trying to think of the name because I'm like he did say it and yet I cannot. And of course they don't put it in.
Yeah, no, they mentioned they said it a couple times, but
But anyway, so we have that going on, and blah blah blah. His back gets broken. Then I think it was in this episode, we see Joker.
we've seen Joker a couple times at this point.
That's right. No, you're right. We've seen him multiple times, but they don't believe it's truly him, or they're like it's got to be him. But it's a weird cluster of things.
At first, Harley was like, "This is definitely Joker," and everyone was like, "No." Poison Ivy was like, "No, it's definitely not." And then they put a
Okay.
picture next to him, and they're like, "Oh my god, it is Joker." But
Okay. And then
Harley doesn't trust him, obviously.
what throws me off is because then the next episode was the flashback of basically her first time in Arkham.
Yeah.
Also, the weirdest rendition of the earliest Joker, I'll say. He looked really weird being in Arkham.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know what he looked like? He looked like a mix of like Heath Ledger's Joker and the Batman's Joker. Remember that one? The one where he kind of looked like demon-like.
We didn't really get a full look at him. It was a deleted scene that we saw him.
Oh shoot, that's right. I'm looking at the picture now. That's why. But he
Yeah, no,
does look like it though.
he didn't
But you're
really
right.
get it. We didn't even get a great look at him. So
The No Place to Go But Down was which one was this one?
them in the pit.
Oh, yes, they get arrested because
Yep.
Two-Face and Bane work together.
Yep. They get captured. They get sent to the pit, and they try to plan a way to get. They try to plan a way to get out.
They get sent into Bane's prison, which is the pit.
Yeah. Whatever.
I have to be specific.
And there are a ton of villains down there.
Yeah, and also George Lopez.
Yeah, and George Lopez makes an appearance.
There's also another person that makes an appearance, but not in this episode. He comes in later, which threw me off. Like I said, we'll talk about in a bit. Oh yeah, it was Clock King, Anarchy, Man Bat, Professor Pig, Victor Zaz, Ratcatcher. That's the one. I was like, I know there was another one.
I didn't realize he was in the pit.
Yeah.
I knew he was in the show. I didn't realize he was in the pit.
Well, he was in that episode. I can't remember if he was in the pit or not. He might not have been.
Oh, okay.
That one's the only one I'm not positive on. And then obviously Killer Croc.
Yep.
And the next one was the Inner Parademons, which this one was the one I remember the most because this is Harley Quinn and her gang minus Ivy. Because Ivy was getting ready for her wedding, right?
Ivy was trying to get ready for her wedding, and Harley was trying to prove to everyone that she wasn't obsessed with the kiss with Ivy. Because after they escaped the pit, they kissed.
That's right.
And and Harley, this is the episode where Harley was going crazy, like she was like randomly kisses everybody.
Yes, and then she also, because Darkseid comes, she's basically like able to like put her focus on other things.
Yeah, she defeated Granny Goodness to get control of a Mother Box and his parademons, and
Yep.
so they go to Gotham, try to take over Gotham, and she
And
has a change of heart.
and also we have Doctor Psycho, who turns on everyone.
And that yeah, that is the episode where Doctor Psycho was like, because he was
It
very into the
starts.
taking over. He wants to take over the world. So because Harley backed out, he left the crew.
Yes. Yep. And then Ivy also meets Kite-Man's parents, who are exactly what we're expecting.
Yep. I didn't remember that his parents were in this season.
Um, I agree. I also didn't think it was both parents. For some reason, I thought it might have been just his dad. Um, but it makes sense that both his parents were there. And then the
No,
next
it does.
episode was the bachelorette party, which was this was the weirdest group of women to come together. It was Harley, Ivy, Mrs. Freeze, aka Nora, Ivy's kindergarten friend Jennifer, Catwoman, all going to Themyscira, which is a resort basically, and is turned into an all-female resort in Wonder Woman's absence, which to me is friggin' hilarious.
Yeah.
The main point of this story is Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy um, do a little dance. They make love.
They do very inappropriate things.
Yes. And also we get Maximus Zeus who comes in who hooks up with Jennifer. Who hooks up with cuz they eat everyone had a like cuz it was Kite Man gets Ivy, Maximus Zeus gets one of the girls, and I forget who gets Nora cuz Nora leaves with somebody too.
Zeus was with Nora.
You're right. Zeus was with Nora.
I don't remember who Rebecca was.
Jennifer meets up back with her husband. Yes, okay.
Oh, right. She comes back and she
Yeah,
was like, "We're changing things," and he's like, "Wait, what? What happened? What happened over there?" That's
that's
right.
right. That's right. I was like, I remember that whole thing, and I'm like, I just couldn't remember who was with who. Um,
Yep.
and then Harley's by herself, and then Kite Man, Ivy leaves with Kite Man as Harley's like heartbroken.
Harley confesses her love officially to Ivy,
Yep.
and Ivy turns her down.
Yep. And then the next episode was called Die Hard, which was the wedding.
No,
No,
wedding was the
no,
finale.
no, no. This was where she reconnects with the now sane Joker.
Right, because she's at the bar trying to forget her feelings, and Joker's at Wayne Tower bar, right?
Yes.
And they go on a mission to try because they have someone is breaking in, and there's a gang that's breaking in trying to do stuff, and they Joker and Harley go through the vents trying to escape and whatnot.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then this was also the one where. Hold on.
I like that you're reading the synopsis while we go over this.
Well, yeah, because I'm trying to remember because I'm mixing up some stuff. Because I was trying to figure out if this was the one where the Justice League escapes, but no, this is where they really focus on wanting to get the storybook to release the Justice League.
Yep.
This was also the one where Joker finally becomes Joker again.
Joker becomes the Joker again. Then the next episode, because he remembers who he is, he goes to
He
get the
go
book.
Yes, but then he also becomes a family man,
Oh yeah,
which is so
he
weird.
he realizes he was happier there, so he leaves his life of crime behind for the
But he
kids.
says it in the weirdest way because he goes, "No, I'm still a serial killer. I'm just going to do it for only kill for love."
Yeah, yeah. Oh,
It's like that was the one that messed me up because I remember everything that happened, but I don't remember like the order for some reason. And I'm kind of PO'd about this. This was the start of the wedding though. Like no. This is where she gets the dress. That's right.
yeah. And Kite Man is like, "Why isn't Harley here?" And
Yes.
Ivy's like, "Oh, she's busy."
Yes. And at the end of this episode, the Justice League are released, and they take out
That's the big fight with Dr. Psycho, where Dr.
Yep.
Psycho takes control of Harley's crew, which is Clayface, King Shark, and Poison Ivy.
Yes.
It was his name, Sid, the guy in the wheelchair.
Yes.
Sid kills himself so that way they can break Psycho's force barrier. And Psycho, once he's defeated, reveals to the world that Harley and Poison Ivy hooked up, and Kite-Man is devastated, and that's how the episode ends.
No.
And the next episode,
No. No.
no,
Kite Man doesn't know yet. Because remember, it's later on. It's in a couple episodes. It's like an episode or two later.
no. In the episode where Psycho does the projection into the air, Kite-Man sees that.
No, I know, but that's the next episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because this is a 2-episode thing.
Ivy. Yeah, you're right. You're correct. I mean, Harley breaks the control by kissing Ivy,
Yes.
and it was after that. That's when Dr. Psycho then shows the projection up in the sky to show everyone about the Harley Quinn's memory of them hooking up, meaning
Poison Ivy's.
Poison Ivy. And so then we see all these different characters see through it, like see it all. So we see
Yep.
Clayface, like Clayface and King Shark are surprised. Bane washes it from the pit, claims he knew all along. We had Batgirl and Commissioner Gordon covering each other's eyes.
That was funny.
Then we had Alfred, who was trying to see it.
Oh yeah.
And then it ends with Dr. Psycho passing out.
Yep. And
I think that's
Kite-Man
the last
being...
time we see Dr. Psycho for the rest of the season.
Yeah, we don't see Dr. Psycho the last episode. Yep.
And then the last one was obviously the wedding, which...
Oh, we can't forget that Darkseid is impressed with Harley Quinn's power, so he forgives her for betraying him and gives her another chance to take over the world by giving her another boob tube. And she's like, "No, I don't want this."
I'm sorry, what'd you call it?
A boom tube?
Okay.
What'd you think I called it?
Boob tube.
No, boom tube.
I thought you said boob. Anyway.
Clearly something's on your mind.
I mean, it's Harley Quinn. So,
yep.
Yeah, so this one's basically Kite-Man breaks up with Ivy, which realistically they really shouldn't have been together anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, the whole beginning of it was Ivy trying to convince Kite-Man that she wants to be with him, blah, blah, blah. And then he finally breaks up with her.
After the wedding gets torn apart because Commissioner Gordon comes up with the great idea that because all the major villains are going to be in this one place, the police are going to ambush them and arrest them all. And the wedding falls apart because Harley Quinn is trying to do the right thing and protect them, but they don't believe her. So the plan succeeds for a little while until Harley Quinn steps in again. And when the villains all wake up from being unconscious because Gordon poisons them, I guess, toxic gases them and knocks them out. They wake up and start killing all of the cops except for Gordon.
We also have a cameo here from Tim Burton.
Oh yeah, and he falls in love. He's Catwoman's date, yep. But he falls in love with Clayface when he hears his singing.
Yes. Yep.
There were a lot of villains in this episode, obviously, because they were all there. I know there was
so many cameos. It was ridiculous.
There was Killer Frost. There was a Livewire.
There was Solomon Grundy.
Solomon Grundy. Yep. There were so many. I couldn't keep. I tried to see who they all were, and it was just couldn't.
No, there were so many that I think I could remember but there were some that I wasn't 100% sure because Livewire was there. I remember Livewire. I remember Solomon Grundy. Obviously, Bane was there, but that shouldn't have been that much of a shock. But it was the ones that I was kind of more surprised by. Oh, it's saying Dr. Trap was there. I don't
really?
remember him being there.
Oh, I mean, I guess technically they didn't kill him. They just broke his jaw.
I know, but I'm more surprised. I don't remember seeing him there, but that doesn't mean anything. There were so many people that it was It was easy to lose
Then
track.
once everything is done, said and done, Gotham is restored again. Once the Justice League Justice League is freed. So the mayor of the city is giving everyone a key to the city from the Justice League, and he gives it to Commissioner. He doesn't give it to Commissioner Gordon, and gives it to himself. And Commissioner Gordon just goes off and loses his mind, because he's like, he wasn't even here. He was hiding. I was the one that was risking my life to save this city. And
Oh, I'm stupid.
why? I agree, but why?
That wasn't supposed to actually be Tim Burton. They mistake him for Tim Burton.
Oh.
I, for some reason, thought it was like supposed to be actually Tim Burton. Like, obviously, it wasn't like the voice of him; it was just a cameo. But I mean, I don't know why, but I for some reason thought it was actually Tim Burton.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, I knew it wasn't. I didn't remember who it was, but
I think it was like Gary or something stupid like that.
he's still supposed to be someone like something kind of important, but
No, he is.
not really.
But he was mistaken to be Tim Burton, and I just for some reason thought they were making him be Tim Burton. But anyway, yeah. So then we have Ivy and Harley together.
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, I mean it was a good season. This was actually a good season. I liked it.
Yeah.
Oh, we
I
also
mean,
had which was one thing we forgot to mention, was Kite-Man and his arch enemy having a fight together, kind of.
yeah, they were a fight for the wedding venue.
I think his name was Condiment Man. No, Condiment
Condiment King.
Condiment King. Thank you. I'm like, I knew it was Condiment something. Um, yeah, I mean, it was good.
Oh, I liked the season. Season 1 and 2 of Harley Quinn were banger. I'm gonna have to fight to get through season 3, because, like I said, this is when I stopped kind of watching it. So
Yeah.
I wasn't too thrilled about it, because them being together was just like, oh, this isn't as good.
I'll be curious to see where it goes. But
Yeah.
anyway, so we're not going to be watching season 3 in the next episode. We're going to be focusing on the 2 shows that are coming out. But before we talk about what's coming up, Mike has a character spotlight for all of us.
Okay. So my character spotlight. I know. He made an appearance in Harley Quinn, and my guess,
Wait. Question. When you say that, was he in season 2 or
he
she?
was in season 2. Do you want to guess? I want to play this game. Why don't you guess?
I do like this game, and I wanted to guess, which is why I did what I did.
I know you did.
Well, it clearly wasn't Doctor Trap because you didn't remember his name.
That is
I'm
correct.
trying to think of who's like an obscure character that was kind of shown. Because it's not Kite Man, because you already did him. Um,
I will tell. I'll give you a hint. He made an appearance in the last episode.
I does it have to do with Gordon? No.
Gordon was in the scene with him.
Um, I don't think I can pinpoint it.
You waving the flag?
I'm waving the flag. I'm gonna be
So
so mad.
he was on the stage with the Justice League of America, when they were getting the keys to the city. His name is Vibe.
I know who you're talking about in the sense of like visually, but like the name doesn't ring a bell. I don't think I registered names.
I mean, he literally didn't talk at all.
No, I know, and I also don't think his name was mentioned, was it?
uh,
It might have been, but it's not.
I, no, his name was not mentioned. No,
Okay.
it was not.
So I'm not crazy. So yeah, I wouldn't have guessed.
No, I knew you weren't. I just wanted to play the game because you clearly wanted to play the game. So, Vibe, his real name is Francisco Ramon. His nickname, people close to him would always call him Cisco. His first appearance came from the Justice League of America comic issue back in 1984. Um, he is a metahuman with the ability to emit vibration shock waves. And his most recent appearance outside of Harley, actually no, he came in after that as well. So his most recent appearances, he became more mainstream from the CW show in The Flash. He was the Flash's best friend in the CW show. Um, so character history. Cisco Ramon began his career as Vibe shortly after Aquaman disbanded the original Justice League. When young Cisco heard that a new Justice League was forming in his hometown of Detroit, he decided to give up his position as the leader of a local street gang, Los Lobos, to join the Justice League. What made Cisco a candidate was his metahuman ability to emit a powerful vibration shockwaves. Vibe's presence on the team caused Aquaman and the Martian Manhunter to harbor some strong doubts about the new Justice League of America, particularly after he got the League involved in a rumble with the rival gang. Vibe soon proved his mettle during the League's battle against Cabre, Anton Allegro, and Amazo. He stayed with the League through the Crisis of Infinite Earths crossovers, when his powers played a vital role in defeating Despero. Later, Darkseid had there was a mini issue where Darkseid invaded Earth, and the Justice League disbanded, and Justice League had disbanded, and Cisco left the Justice League comrades to seek familiar solace on the streets. Vibe was attacked by one of Professor Ivo's androids and became the first Justice League member to be killed in the line of duty. After he was killed, the Martian Manhunter brought his body back to the League's mountain sanctuary, where he laid to rest in a cryogenic chamber. Since his death, he has been resurrected twice by evildoers. Cisco has two brothers, Armando and Dante, and the former has similar vibration powers as Cisco. In the Trinity series, the reality is altered, and Cisco is living and shown. Excuse me, and he is living and shown as a member of the Justice League, and not the Justice League, and the League, which is an underground version of the Justice League.
Okay.
In this series, the Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman are not around, but they make a return. And when they return, Cisco's head gets disintegrated and he is killed yet again. Later down the road, and once DC got a reboot in the New 52, they changed Vibe slightly. What was it? He became a little bit more mainstream after the main 52. Like before then, he was kind of just more of a side character. But they made him more of a prominent character.
Big point almost.
Kind of. He still wasn't like massive like the main members,
no,
but
he had more than what he was.
Yeah. The thing with Cisco, they made him part of the Justice League of America. The Justice League of America is meant to be, as we've talked about a little bit before with Marvel and the Thunderbolts. Mm-hmm. They're meant to be America's version of the Justice League if the Justice League ever were to go rogue or not around to protect the country. Okay. So just smaller group for the United States. Powers and abilities. Like his name suggests, Vibe's power revolves around vibration, frequency, and resonance. His powers enable him to create shockwaves of considerable strength that could shatter concrete or steel, as well as affect the physical world as seismic vibrations and even earth manipulation, or space-time. He was reintroduced in 2013, and during his reintroduction, they redefined his powers as having interdimensional physics. Vibes waves have the power to disrupt the Speed Force, making him one of the few characters who possess a serious threat to the Flash. And for this reason, Steve Trevor recruits him into the Justice League of America. Amanda Waller has stated that Cisco Ramon might be one of the most powerful superhumans on the planet. He wields vibrational powers that could, in theory, shake the Earth apart, and he is the only person we know of who can find and track interdimensional breaches, and he is undetectable by security cameras. In the CW show, his character was a little bit more different. In the show, he was a genius, and I don't remember him. He didn't have any ties to any gangs, but in the show, he had many doppelgangers, because they explored the multiverse a lot in that show, and his doppelgangers were typically evil that could compete with the Flash, but they were kind of just more down low. They lower level villains that were always tossed around by bigger villains. They definitely explored the issue of him, or not the issue, the his more powers being able to open portals and travel between. His powers could travel between the multiverse as well. But I thought that was fun. I thought it was just a random character that was part when they were giving the awards. I was looking at who those characters was, and it was just. I thought it was funny that he was just randomly there with with Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman, because it was just like he wasn't there at all. Why is he getting awarded for this?
Agreed. No, not bad. It's not what I was expecting, because I would have thought you would have done something else, but I mean, it works. It doesn't matter. So
I just was looking for someone that was so insecure,
well, also
obscure. I actually wanted to.
Right. I mean, you win on that one for sure.
I actually wanted to do originally. I wanted to do King Shark's father, but
okay,
there wasn't a lot on him.
I hate when that happens, when you see somebody and you're like, "Oh, this will be a great one to like talk about because nobody knows them," and then you find out they really don't have anything on them. So it's like,
yeah, it was literally just like he is the king of the sharks, he is the god of the sharks, and
yes.
like it was literally like it would have taken me 10 seconds to go through it, and I'm like, all right, I can't do this.
I'm surprised you also didn't do King Shark's girlfriend.
Thought about it.
His betrothed.
Yep, I did think about it. There were a few characters that I was thinking about, but I figured this one I actually had a little bit more substance.
No,
so I was just like, all right.
But overall, so for next week, we are finally back in the thick of it. It's actually Marvel and DC both together at the same time.
It is.
It is Penguin and Agatha. So next episode is going to be the 2-episode premiere of Agatha, and then the 1 show of Penguin. And then the following week, it's only going to be Agatha because Penguin won't be out.
Well, it depends on what time we do the recording. If we record at night.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, though.
Oh, okay. So we're going to be a week behind?
It depends. I guess it depends. If we do it in the afternoon like we're doing now, we might be able to. But if it's in the morning, no, we can't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if we record in the afternoon or evening, we can do that.
Yeah, but the evening
we'll play it by ear, I guess.
The evening on Sundays is a no-go. But anyway, for the most part, actually, I think if we do the afternoon, we'll be fine. So, yeah. So we'll hold off on that, because does it say what time on Sunday?
I think it's Sunday morning, just like Superman.
Okay. So it's like
I think it's Sunday morning at 9 a.m.
Yeah. Okay, no problem. So for that, well, anyway, for this week, for the week coming, we don't have to worry about it because it's Thursday. So yeah, so we'll have the 2 episodes of Agatha. We'll have the 1 episode of Penguin, and then we'll have a character spotlight for me and any news that pops up. But nothing is.
I don't know if you saw this, but Agatha, like you said, has a 2-episode premiere. Every episode comes out one episode per week, except for the season finale. The season finale is going to be 2 episodes.
Okay. So I didn't.
Okay. You seem cranky now. So
It's past my nap time. So, but yeah, so yeah, we'll be doing that. And I think it might still end. I think it ends Halloween then.
Does it?
Hold on.
Because it's
Let me,
8 episodes. So
one,
we get
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
yeah.
7, 8, 9. Yeah, it ends the day before Halloween.
That'll be good then. Nice.
And I said they might do that. That's hilarious. I was right.
We did. You did. Because you were like, "Oh, it would end. It ends randomly in November," and I said, "Well, unless they do a double episode at some point."
And
So
I said, oh, then they'll actually end because it's the first week of November. If they did it the way they like talked about it to begin with, it was going to end the first week of November.
mhm.
But now it doesn't. It ends on the 30th, which makes a heck of a lot of sense. Which means that season finale, man, series finale, is going to be very spooky.
I hope so.
Um,
We're gonna have a lot to talk about that week. That's gonna be a lot.
yeah. But anyway, that will be for next week, and obviously we have a character spotlight from me. But for now, this is going to be Scott and Mike signing out of the Black Heel podcast. So if you've made it this far into the video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Mike really needs it. Other than that, we're going to
I
say
need it.
goodnight. Goodbye. Bye-bye.